Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Sound Off, where you get a chance to be part of the conversation on everything sports. Tweet us your questions, comments using the hashtag Sunday Sound Off. Let's introduce tonight's panel. Of course, Soren Petro in our first slot from Sports Radio 810 WHB, the program from 10 until 2 every day. Soren, how are you this hot Sunday night?
I'm doing well. I just wish everybody out there could be part of some of our conversations that happen before we go on the air, where you find out great things like Frank was a finance major.
Yeah, well, you know how it goes. You know how that.
Would have never guessed it. Never.
Okay, never mind. TJ Carpenter from Sports Radio 810, Sports Night. TJ?
Speaking of which, I am honored to be a part of the lead-in programming to In Depth with Graham Benzinger.
Blair Kirkhoff, the fine columnist from the KC Star. How are you there, Blair?
I'm doing great, Frank. How are we doing tonight?
No smart comment from you,
No,
Joe?
nothing.
Okay,
I can't follow that. The Benzinger comment, that was the best one.
All right, gentlemen, here are hot topics of the evening. Why are DH, second base, right field, and a starting rotation now all of a sudden these huge question marks for the Royals? Should the Big 12 kick Baylor out of the conference? And number 3, what's Muhammad Ali's legacy? But first, to our question of the week, what's wrong with the Royals on the road? The last 2 seasons, they've been one of the 2 best teams on the road, Major League Baseball. Soren, they're 11-19 right now. What are your thoughts?
From the surface, I want to say it's just, the randomness of numbers, that there really isn't anything here. It just so happens that they've played their worst baseball when they've been out on the road. I'd like to believe that. This is a championship caliber club the last 2 years. We know winning the World Series last year, and they played great baseball on the road. Certainly in the postseason, they're as good as anybody going out on the road. So I think my first reaction is just say, let's calm down and see if these numbers don't even out over the long haul. If I were to take a stab at it, I think it's injuries. We want to breeze past that, and I know we'll talk about that a little bit more later on, but this team has lost a lot of talent, and I think maybe when you're at home, that gets the energy going and pumps you up, and you don't have that energy when you're out on the road, and we're finding out that, when you're down a number of key players, you just don't play at the same high level that you used to, and I think that's one of the things Royals fans need to be ready for. I don't think this season is suddenly going to become magical. I'm not saying they can't make the postseason, but I think it's going to be a grind. It's going to be a hard-fought grind filled with ups and downs throughout the course of the year that hopefully the Royals can put together enough ups to get back into the postseason.
TJ, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think a lot of it may have to do with the fact that there is a bit of bad luck in terms of scheduling. They've had the Cleveland Indians, first 7 games against them all on the road. I do think that has a pretty significant part to do with it, especially given how they are constructed in terms of their offense. I mean, they hit a lot of home runs. That's how they beat the Royals. That's how they beat a lot of teams. And I think in particular, the home run hurts you more on the road because a lot of those ballparks are a lot smaller. So I do think the ballpark has something to do with it. They're much more comfortable at home, as Soren mentioned. They're down talent numbers, and obviously you think that when Alex Gordon comes back and Salvador Perez comes back, that will help improve the offense as well. But I do think that maybe the number one problem, not just on the road, but in general, is the starting pitching. They have got to find a way to limit the number of base runners they give up, and yes, limit the number of home runs they give up. Hopefully Chris Young is destined for the bullpen, and we won't see the launch pad that we saw today again this season in the rotation.
Yeah, he's had a home run hit off from every game. In 2 of those games, he had 4 hit off from against the Yankees, and then again today. Blair, what are your thoughts about the Road Warriors that the Royals used to be and the Road Warriors the Royals are today?
Yeah, well, first of all, I agree with TJ. The starting pitching is the most disconcerting thing, especially the performances of Volquez and Kennedy, the guys who you would identify as the top 2 starters. Just really pitching poorly in their 2 starts in Cleveland. But keep in mind, a week ago here on the set, Frank, didn't we identify the Indians as the team that would be the greatest challenge to the Royals? And we saw why this weekend. It's a talented Indians team. Nobody's ready to press the panic button yet, and they were coming off of a great homestand going into this Indians thing. I go back to that first game against Cleveland when they blew the 1-run lead in the 9th inning when Paulo Orlando misplayed a couple of balls and Soria. He ends up blowing the save and losing the game, but that game was lost defensively by Paulo Orlando, who entered the game, by the way, as a defensive replacement.
Yeah, right.
So. But, yeah, it's all translated into, what is it, you said 11-19 record. I think that's the most losses in the American League on the road, and they have got to find a way to reverse that fortune.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, too, was Thursday night. They win just to watch Francisco Lindor. I mean, they wanted that game better. When they won that game, it almost took the air out of the Royals for the rest of the weekend. It really showed on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. Up next, our hot topics. You're watching Sunday Sound Off.